Hey there! So now you've accessed and logged into KnowledgeKube, it's only natural to ask yourself, what next? What exactly can KnowledgeKube do for me? Perhaps you've already got some idea of what KnowledgeKube does, having been told by a friend or colleague, or maybe you've just been asked to complete this training for work and you've got no idea what to expect. Either way, in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to give you an overview of the kinds of content that go into making a KnowledgeKube application and why you should care about that. After looking at this diagram, you might think, whoa, that looks incredibly complicated. There's no way I could remember all of it. Or maybe, I only wanted to create a simple application. Do I really need to use all of this? You'll be pleased to know that although the diagram shows everything that can go into a KnowledgeKube application, what you need to include depends entirely on what you're trying to achieve. Every single item here serves a useful purpose, and when you want your application to fulfill that purpose, you'll find the individual parts become indispensable. When describing any kind of application, it's easiest to speak in terms of 3 main components. Inputs, meaning any sort of data or signal that passes into the application. Outputs, meaning data or signals that are passed out of the application. And lastly, any processes that occur within the application. More often than not, an application will receive input, perform some sort of process that makes use of that input, and produce an output based on the effect of the process on the input. This is sometimes referred to as a black box setup, since people using the application observe it turning what they do, the input, into what they see, the output, with no idea of what process is occurring to make it all happen. The contents of the black box remain a mystery, and many people are fine with that. Not all applications use all 3 of these components. A website that simply displays text has an output, but it requires no input and performs no processing of any kind. Many types of web servers provide data when queried, but do not allow any data to be uploaded, nor do they process the data in any way. Again, you can see how an application's structure is based on what it is required to do. The majority of black box processing that occurs within a KnowledgeKube application is performed by an object known as a model. Simply put, the model tells the application where to get its input and how to display its output. It supplements its input with a set of pre-configured content that is either presented directly to end users or used to perform processes that determine the application's eventual output. The most common unit of content within a model is known as a question. Most models consist of multiple questions, each of which either asks end users to provide input or provides them with some form of output. For example, you might use a text-based question to ask end users their name, or a date question to ask them when they need an order to be delivered. In terms of output, you can use questions to display a message to users or present relational data in a grid or chart. There are many types of question, all of which will be taught in later courses. Using KnowledgeKube's powerful expression engine, models can perform calculations, logical comparisons, and other value-based operations in order to deliver a responsive, interactive experience to the end user. Expressions can be as simple or as complex as you like, according to the demands of the application you want to create. Each model has its own library of supplemental content to enhance the end user experience. This includes custom templates, which enable users of your application to download bespoke reports and other types of dynamic documentation. It also includes data matrices, which let your application perform rapid, value-based lookups with no reliance on external sources of data. Speaking of data, if you want your application to receive input from an external database, you can establish one or more data source connections within your model. Using filters, you can retrieve specific data from the external source and present it to end users in a variety of formats. What's more, your application can be used to send new or updated values to an external database, another example of output. Typically, a KnowledgeKube application's visual output is presented to end users as either a web page, a mobile app, or both. Deploying to the web is made possible using KnowledgeKube's built-in content delivery features, which let you create web pages, apply custom styles, write scripts, and much more. Mobile app delivery requires use of the KnowledgeKube Enterprise Server feature, which lets you deliver custom branded content to users anywhere they might need it. KnowledgeKube lets you manage your application's users, control which content they have access to, and even create and manage users within the application itself. By combining user management features with custom expressions, you can deliver a truly personalized experience to individuals or groups of users. Although we've just skimmed the surface in this video, I hope it's helped you to understand a little more about KnowledgeKube's capabilities and got you thinking about the kinds of applications you're going to develop with it. In later courses, I'll be walking you through the creation of different kinds of KnowledgeKube content, but for the remainder of this course, I'm going to help you explore the platform's interface so you can get ready to develop your first application.